Hello and welcome to tradingfloor.com with a special on the earnings season. The technology sector has had its leading stars reveal the last quarter earnings of 2010. Intel, Apple and IBM all came in above expectations, and all eyes are now on Google, which is about to report its earnings. And the recent news abuzz with Apple is co-founder and CEO Steve Jobs taking medical leave of absence. The announcement hit Apple's share price and left investors, analysts and Apple watchers pondering the company's directions the day Jobs eventually does move on. And with us we have Peter Ganru, equity strategist here at Saxo Bank. Welcome again, Peter.
Thank you very much.
So very interesting times, and as we both discussed, we're both technology and Apple watchers, so it's a special interest we have in this segment. So if we have a look at the earnings that have come out, we've got Intel, Apple and IBM all coming well above expectations. Can we go through those companies and explain where has their growth come from?
Yeah, of course. If we start with Intel and IBM, it's pretty much the same story. It's higher demand for computers, servers, and for IBM it's also software. The software segment is growing quite fast, and most interestingly, they're all saying that businesses are spending more. So we are coming into a replacement cycle. It's picking up now. So businesses are investing more in computers, and that will be very good for the tech industry as a whole. And so I mean that will drive tech stocks, at least in the hardware side of it.
Yeah, and if we have a look at, so they're almost like traditional, infrastructure. And we spoke with Christian Blabauer, chief equity strategist, about how that was an indicator of the future. If we have a look at companies like Apple, for example, who is kind of like paving the way in terms of combining media and technology together, how did their earnings, if we have a look at their scorecard, how did that consist of?
It was phenomenal. It was a blowout quarter for Apple, with the best quarter ever. And their profit surged 78%, and pretty much all segments were growing double digits. So they sold 7.3 million iPads, the first holiday season ever. They sold 16 million iPhones, and it was just phenomenal growth rates everywhere. And but you know, Apple has become the Mercedes of consumer electronics. They are showing that consumers are willing to pay for good design and usability, and that's what they're providing. So they have centered themselves in the consumer electronics space, combining media consumption, combining design, hardware into an integrated system, and that's the vision of Steve Jobs, the integrated solution, which really sets Apple apart from all its competitors.
And if we have, we were having a look at the reports, and one of the things we were trying to look into was separating where the revenue was coming from, whether it was hardware and software, and can you just take us into what you were finding in terms of their software sales?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it seems like the growth in hardware and software sales is quite balanced, and we were actually thinking or thought that iPads would cannibalize the Macs and the MacBook, the notebooks, more, but it hasn't. If you look at the Macs and the MacBook Air, they're growing at the double-digit growth rates. So I mean, hardware is up, software consumption is up. We cannot. I mean, we don't have the data to say if it's applications on the App Store and for the iPhone that's growing, or is the hardware part. But we can just see in the data that, I mean, the aggregate numbers are growing. So we think it's a balanced mix between hardware and software.
Now, if we have a look at, we've got Google coming up this week. Again, another interesting technology company, but with more insights into the advertising sector.
Yeah.
What are we expecting to see Google following this trend from the tech sector?
Yeah, we believe so. We believe that Google will probably surprise to the upside compared to analyst expectations on higher demand for online advertising, as we see businesses are believing in the economic recovery. So they will spend more on advertising, and again we will still see this flow of advertising dollars moving from the offline space into the online space, and that will clearly benefit Google. And then, of course, all eyes will be on the Android phone, because that's the huge battle within the tech industry. That's between the Android platform and Apple's iOS or the iPhone platform. That will be the main thing to watch in the report, because the last quarter we had the CEO of Google out saying that the Android on a run rate basis, Android is running $1 billion in sales. So it's becoming maybe the next revenue stream for Google. So that's pretty exciting.
But they're still down the advertising stream, because they obviously don't have the media sales that iTunes has. I think Guy Kawasaki quoted as the secret sauce for Apple, right? So yeah. And look, quickly over to, if we finish off with the news on Stephen Jobs, because that's the thing that everyone's talking about at the moment, and the big question that people are pondering is, he is human. So whether it's this year or in a few years down the track, what is Apple's future beyond Stephen Jobs? Do you have any takes or insights to that?
Well, we believe that Apple's future is very bright, at least for 2011 and 2012. I mean, the pipeline, the roadmap is there. We believe, of course, it's sad for Steve Jobs that he's going on medical leave. He is the strategic mind of Apple, but we believe that the current management team knows the roadmap, and they can drive Apple through this period, at least for 2011 and 2012. So. And we also saw that investors was happy with the results and believe in Apple, because the share went up 4.5% in the aftermarket. So clearly, it's in the short term, maybe it's a bad news that Steve Jobs is taking medical leave, but we certainly believe in the management team, and we know that Tim Cook has done it before, because Steve Jobs obviously has taken medical leave before, and so we believe that Apple, it's maybe the most well-oiled machine in the tech industry today, and probably in the whole world, in terms of all the companies you could think of. So
great.
We really believe that Apple will shine through 2011.
Great. Look, thanks for the update, Peter.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And don't forget, for by-the-minute insights on global equity markets, you can visit tradingfloor.com/equities. And you can also follow us on Twitter at tradingfloor.com. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.